because so many women are still suffering in silence. And Dr. Aziza is here to change that.
I didn't know the word vagina until I was in my teens. I didn't know the word vulva until I went to medical school.
No bold, no change. Whoever is a change maker is never going to go down well, is it?
I really truly believe that health literacy is a determinant of health. It's a difference between life and death, literally. Feel that fear and do it anyway, because you have no idea what is waiting for you on the other side.
Don't shrink to fit in.
No, be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
Welcome to Her Own Narrative, where stories are the source of clarity, courage, and change. Today, we have Dr. Aziza with us, Dr. Aziza Sesay, known online as Talks with Dr. Sesay, GP, speaker, health educator, and most importantly, fearless advocate for women's health equity. This episode is about boldness, about language. It's about reclaiming our health by first reclaiming how we speak about it, because so many women are still suffering in silence. And Dr. Aziza is here to change that.
Oh, thank you so much. What an amazing welcome. I'm super impressed. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you. Right, let's, obviously, I love your platform.
Thank you.
And whoever is not following you yet, please follow. It's an educational platform, and not only just educational, it's empowering platform. It's bold.
Thank you.
It's courageous, and it's relentless.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're trying here. We're really trying.
No, but you are doing an amazing job. Also, it's a purpose behind it that is so amazing. You know, you can be bold for being bold, but then there is a massive purpose behind it that makes it even more special. So was there a point where it was like, you're too bold? You're too much.
You know, that's so interesting that you use the adjective too. I always say that as soon as we add to, that's when people essentially make it out like though it's a negative, to be something or do something, and it's not. And if someone is putting two in front of your name, that means that you're doing something right.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So I wouldn't say I'm too bold. I mean, yes, absolutely. The topics that I discuss within a lot of cultures, within my culture, and I'm sure your culture as well, it's considered bold. There's a lot of taboo. There's a lot of shame and stigma. But actually, these are facts of life that we have to be speaking about openly, that we have to be having this discussion as though it's normal. Because ultimately, when we don't, that's what leads to our poor outcomes. That's what leads to unexpected deaths. And, you know, it really pains me whenever I think about how many of us are suffering and how many of us are suffering in silence. It pains me about the individuals who are living. Yes, we are alive, but they're not able to actually do things. They are existing. So I always talk about the same thing, that there's a difference between living and existing. And this is what my platform is about. It's about hopefully changing the narrative within many individuals who do struggle, who do suffer in silence, and giving them their power back.
Reclaim
with the knowledge,
it.
Exactly,
Yes.
with the knowledge that they gain through the posts that I
Yes.
share and all the content.
So, you know, you speak very passionately, and for the audience and the viewers who haven't come across Dr. Sesay yet, which I'm very surprised if you haven't, but who haven't, you speak very passionately about using the correct words for your body and your conditions. Why and where has that come from? And were you always like that, or something triggered?
Yeah, that's such a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. Yes, I wasn't always like this. So I am Muslim, and I grew up in a traditional African household, and we didn't talk about these things. I didn't know the word vagina until I was in my teens. I didn't know the word vulva until I went to medical school. So it just wasn't anything that we really spoke about. And there was, again, it was riddled with shame. It was riddled with taboo, stigma, just hush, hush. But over the years, obviously becoming a doctor, becoming a GP, and seeing the same thing, hearing the same stories, seeing a lot of women who come forward late or being diagnosed late or coming forward with conditions that are relatively easy to treat, like thrush. I had a patient who was struggling with symptoms of thrush, so itching, irritating vagina, and some discharge that she'd been struggling with for so long, and she didn't see anyone about it because she was too embarrassed to talk about it. And so I noticed those things, and I'm like, no, we really need to change this. We just need to have these open and honest conversations. I did not bring it with me. Can you believe it? Anybody watching this who knows me would be like, she didn't bring her vulva. I mean, I walk around with my own vulva that I was born with. But
this woman, like, please put it on record. I love her.
But I always carry around a brown vulva, which is again similar to my own, and the reason being it's a crochet vulva. It's again to just break that stigma and break the shame and try and get more and more people to say the word, because the people are still so ashamed to even say the word vulva. And I sing the song, head, shoulders, knees and toes, and vulva, and vagina, and clitoris, yes, those, because they are not bad words. Like this is genuinely why I'm so passionate about it, because it not only affects us within our generation, it affected the generation before us, and it affects our children as well. It's to protect our children. If they're not taught the correct terminology from a young age, then again, the shame is usually passed on. You don't wake up as a child and think, oh, I can't say the word vulva, vagina. No, you were taught not to say the words. So, for instance, I taught my kids to say vulva. My daughter has said vulva for as long as she's known. And, you know, I've had relatives who are like, oh my God, what's she saying? How's she already saying it? Say private parts is better.
But that's what's taught at school as well.
Oh, not all schools, I have to say. So
really?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what I found, which I was really impressed with. So she's learned that. However, this is going back a few months now. She was telling her friends about vulvas, and just I think someone hurt her on her vulva or something happened, and she said, "Oh," to her friends, "Oh, you know, something my vulva," and her friends were like, "Oh my God, don't say that. That's a really bad word. Say private parts instead." So they're taught that from home, and then she thought, oh my God, that means that it is a bad word. And I really had to reaffirm to her that it's not. And it's taken a while for her to, you know, go back to understanding that it is, again, just like your head, shoulders, knees, and toes. But the reason I'm saying that, actually, I'm impressed with the school. So the t-shirt I'm wearing right now is part of a t-shirt line that I started. It's a campaign. It's not for profit. All the money, most of the proceeds goes towards funding menstrual health workshops in Sierra Leone. Okay, so this is not a commercial thing. I started it because, again, I just want people to know that they are not bad words. I have the words on the back. I'm sure you'll send the video later. But on the back of the t-shirt, it says vagina, vulva, and clitoris in bold capital letters and in the shape of a vulva. And the reason that I did it again is, yes, it will give a little bit of the shock factor, but it shouldn't. They're just words, right?
They're just words.
And I will wear it to my daughter's school. So I did speak to her head teacher, and I was like, oh, by the way, I am wearing this t-shirt. And oh, this is great. We teach our students this. We tell them that they're not bad words. And actually we do, but in year two, that's when they have the discussions about naming the different parts of the bodies that some people would say private parts. So they do have that education in their school, but for me, in my point of view, is why are we waiting till they're in year two when they're 6 to 7, when really we should have been telling them from the start? Because I believe that the moment that we're using euphemisms or using other words, that's already putting into their heads.
And then you're changing.
Yes.
You're unlearning what you've learned.
Exactly.
Haven't you? That's even harder.
And why is it? So I always talk about this on my platform, and there was a mom who was really excited, and I'm really grateful for her for sharing this. Yeah, no, I had a lady who was really ecstatic, and she shared with me that because she watched a video or she heard me speaking about the importance of teaching our children the correct terminology, she decided to teach her son that the real word for his penis is...
His penis. Yeah.
Right? You know? And then her son was like, okay, thank you, mommy. That's great. So what's the real word for my elbow? And in that moment, she realized that she's now made him think, okay, there are different words for different parts, but not for certain parts, but not for things like elbow, not for things like head, not for things. And so we are building that negative association and affecting how they view those parts of their bodies. And that will have an impact on them in the long term. And
definitely. It's just like, since the baby is born, you would start telling them, oh, there's 10 million words for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's willy, or it's this, or it's that. But you don't actually say that is the part, which is so true. But, when I heard your talk, I came home and so now my kids are a different age. So when I tried to say that to my teenager, obviously I got shunned away. And I was like, Mom, you've gone mad. But I had to break it slowly. Hopefully it'll come around because there's no shame. I actually now, the more I've said it, it gets normal. The first time I spoke to her, I was like, so, but now it's like, okay, but 6-year-old, he uses all the other words because when he's in the shower or saying anything, or there's a joke always. I don't know why kids think it's funny as well.
Yeah, they do,
isn't it? And I have started correcting it.
Yeah.
All thanks to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so pleased to hear that. Thank you.
And because I understand the purpose behind it.
Yes.
It's not because, hey, let's start now using the word.
It's
because it is for your health.
Yes.
If you're not getting it right, how are you going to get your symptoms right? And that's what I took from your... So, coming back to that, you said Muslim background, your family just frowned upon when your daughter said the word.
Yeah.
How hard was it, Black Muslim woman, GP, talking about not only just normal health issues, now she's taking it to the next level. She's bringing the right words in the society. How dare you?
Yeah.
Was it hard? Was it challenging?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything that's good will be challenging to begin with. And it took a while for my family to properly get on board. So, for instance, my aunt, when she first saw a video that I created on how to check your vulva, and it had a line diagram of the vulva, she's like, oh my God.
Let's disown this child.
She was just like, astaghfirullah, which is like, God forbid, like, what is happening? What are you showing? Why are you showcasing this? But it was more so as well because it was during Ramadan that I released a video, which is the holy month where we fast. Where we fast 30 days in the month. And I had to really explain to her that, look, I understand your concerns and I understand where you're coming from. But the reality is, women can be diagnosed with vulval cancer or vulval conditions like lichen sclerosis or whatever, even during the month of Ramadan, wherever time of year it is. So it's important that we do show this so people know that they have to do this. And it took a while for her to get it. And she's there now. She is sharing my things, but I did get that. And I've had comments from people saying things like, oh, it's like you're obsessed with saying the word vulva, or why aren't you ashamed, like this is so shameful, or like you literally
haters will be haters, does it matter?
But they say that if you have haters, that means you're doing something right. So
100%.
So but I have to be honest that actually more and more people within my community are coming forward, are embracing it, are understanding why it's important. So, for instance, the T-shirts, I have relatives who are wearing the T-shirts. In fact, when I thought of having the T-shirt line, my uncle, who's quite elderly now, he's a retired doctor, and initially, and this is going back like 10, 11 years ago, I was having a discussion to him as a doctor about a clinical case, and I said vagina. And he's like, oh, Aziza, how could you say that in front of me? And I was like, Uncle, you're a doctor.
That's mad, isn't it?
But this, like I said, that's going back over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And when I told my family about my idea, I was like, I was thinking of doing this. I don't know if I should. I don't know if it will make a difference. And he said, that would be amazing, Aziza. That would be bold. That is going to make a difference. That is going to make an impact.
Change
Do
maker
it.
You are.
But he said it.
But because the first time he did, it's something he saw in you.
Yeah.
That perseverance, that relentlessness, that passion.
Thank you.
Is that what's convinced him? Because the man freaked out the first time you said it.
Yeah.
So obviously there's something he saw in there.
Yeah.
And no bold, no change. It's always Oprah Winfrey. I think she said that.
Yeah.
Whoever is a change maker America,
Yeah.
it's never going to go down well, is it?
Yeah.
It's always going to, anybody who's come up with a new idea, it's always going to be criticized. So be ready for that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's your own perseverance that how much you believe in it.
I cannot stress that enough. And I always say this. I was at a grammar school the other day, and I feel like we all kept echoing the same thing. I was on a panel, Black Excellence panel, which was really great. It was amazing.
I missed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all 3 kids go there.
Oh,
anyway,
my
this
God.
is off record.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so it was the other day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of self-belief, because you are always going to have naysayers. You are always going to have haters, as you mentioned. You're always going to have someone who will tell you, oh, it's not possible, you can't do it. And sometimes that voice is in your own head as well.
Yes.
But you truly, if you believe that what you're doing is right, as long as you're not harming anyone, and you know that you can make a change, please hone into that self-belief and just keep persevering. Just keep being persistent and consistent, because what you will find is eventually the cracks will lead to a bigger opening, which then paves the way to your purpose. And I genuinely feel like this trajectory that I'm in, it wasn't on purpose. It just kind of happened. But I do believe that this is my purpose, as well as, the other roles that I have, being a mom and a wife and so on. But I do believe that this is my purpose in life. And what a privilege is it that
to find that purpose. Oh my gosh. I can't emphasize enough, because, I've been lucky to find mine.
Yeah.
You've been lucky to find yours. And I've had incredible women who have come on this couch and spoke about their purpose. And how lucky are we to find that purpose? Not many women or many people find it.
Yeah.
But you gotta keep looking. What inspires you?
Yeah, and sometimes it finds you.
Yes,
like I said, I didn't necessarily go looking
No.
for it. I was very happy being a GP and fulfilling all my other roles. And this came to be, and I've had incredible, amazing opportunities through it. But another thing that I would say is that I believe that most of the opportunities have come because of authenticity. You have to be so true to yourself and your beliefs, and don't try and copy anyone else, because everyone else is taken. Be your own person and be truly yourself, even if that's someone because all through medical school, all through being a doctor, even now, I've had many people say to me, oh my God, you don't really act like a doctor. When I was a medical student, you don't act like a medical
student.
What
does that mean?
Exactly, exactly.
How do you act like a doctor?
Exactly. Well, apparently more professional, more firm, more stern, dressed in a certain way.
Yeah, it's all man-made, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what you said? So you said women come to you. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just going to go, because that thing is still ringing in my head, that the patient who was suffering with her thrush, only thrush for so long, went undiagnosed because she was embarrassed or something. But do you think as women we are conditioned, societal or cultural, to downplay every symptom? Man can have a man flu. We call it man flu because they can't cope. We can literally give birth, come home, cook a meal, and go. Not that we're not suffering. Because we're conditioned to downplay our symptoms. Why is that? Have you seen a little shift in that? And what is your kind of whole thing to it?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to belittle men or anything like that. I mean, they're struggling when they're struggling. It is what it is. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, I agree that women are often seen as these warriors who are meant to endure pain. And that's just our purpose. And I'll give you an example. And I share this, and I know my mom is aware of it. So when I gave birth to my daughter, I had an epidural. I was offered it, and I said, okay, I'll take it. And so my mom made a joke. She's like, Aziza can't handle pain. She had an epidural. And I had to, really explain to her, look, mommy, I mean, it was an option that I was given.
Why would it not?
Exactly. And also, if you don't take the epidural and you do go through the process and you endure the pain, who's going to give you a certificate? What is it that you're going to...
award, isn't it?
Exactly.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Because it's so ingrained in our psyche that it's almost like women are just living in this life to endure pain, to endure the challenges, and we just have to cope and bear and grin and bear and just get on with it. Get on with everything. If you have very excessively painful periods, if it's, disrupting your life, get on with it. Like, there are women who are going to work despite the fact that they're in excruciating pain or they're in really debilitating conditions and they're just expected to be. And it's almost like if they complain, oh, stop being a wuss, or pull your socks up, or come on, we all had to do. And the thing is, it's not just society necessarily. I think we also kind of do this to ourselves, which we definitely need to try and change that narrative.
How do we change that? And we all have been there. I've been there. And I still do it. Just get on with it. And then my expectation, this is where it's actually so interesting you've just said that, because I think I'm doing that too. The next generation, because I get on with it. I expect them to get on with it as well. Why are you making such a big fuss? Just get on with it. That's wrong, isn't it? If you're struggling, yes, you're struggling.
Know when to seek help. So it's interesting. My daughter is 7 and she knows about periods. She knows that you have it once a month. She knows that blood comes out of your vaginal opening. She knows her whole anatomical areas, which I'm really passionate about. The reason I say know the words, know where the different areas are, is so that you can go forward to your GP and you can, correctly or not correctly, confidently explain exactly where you're experiencing the symptoms so that you get the right area examined. Because there was an elderly lady who was embarrassed. She sat down there and then she had her anus examined instead of her vulva. So the actual reason that she came in for wasn't examined. So it's really important to know the difference. And it's not just women who have that. Actually, there was a patient who came to me who said he was having groin symptoms. And then when I went to examine, it was actually his scrotum, the back of his scrotum. That's not the groin. So it's very important that we know the different anatomical parts. I'm not saying that you should be a doctor, you should be scientific, but it's helpful so that you can describe the symptoms. Sorry, I digress. I do that a lot. But in terms of my daughter and periods, she did ask me the other day, and I wasn't expecting this. She was like, oh, mommy, are periods painful? Is it going to hurt me? And I thought, wow, this is a great question that she's already asked. And it's not, I think people sometimes underestimate how much children understand and how much they know. And there's a lot of that cushioning of, oh, let's not scaremonger. And I don't think it's scaremongering if you educate to the right level. There's this thing called spiral learning where you introduce a topic and then you slowly build over the years and their understanding and their maturity with more information, right? So in terms of the periods and pain, I then had to say to her, look, periods can be uncomfortable for some people, right? And it can be really painful for some people. They're not supposed to be. If you get your period and it's really painful, you have to tell mommy, please. You don't have to endure it. You need to let me know and we'll figure out what we can do to help you with it. But it's not always painful. And I explained to her that mommy's really lucky that hers isn't too painful. But I do take painkillers if it hurts me. And then she's like, okay, thank you. And that was it. It wasn't, oh my God, it's going to be so painful. No. It's going to be the worst thing in the world. It's just now she knows. And I hope that when she gets to the stage where she does have her period one day, that I hope and pray that she's not going to have debilitating pain. She's not going to go through that. But God, forbid if that is the case, she knows
to ask for help. That's it. We are okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
We are okay. We don't have to just get on with it.
Yeah. And nobody is going to tell her that runs in the family, because that's the other reality that we have, that I see. And I went to a school to give a talk about menstrual cycles and periods. And there was a young girl, a teenager, who came up to me because I was telling them about what's normal, what's not normal, and when to seek help. And she said, oh, look, I have really heavy, painful periods. And my mom told me that's normal because it runs in the family. And I had to say to her, okay, please tell your mom that you saw a doctor today and the doctor said that you need to get seen by someone, because just because it runs in the family doesn't mean it's normal, because there's that narrative as well that passes on. And that's where you get generations of women who have conditions like fibroids or endometriosis, for instance, and the older generation had no idea. So I've seen this where the daughter comes to clinic, gets the examination done and the assessments, because she's like, I need to find out what's going on with me. And then she gets a diagnosis and the mom's like, ooh, let me see if I have that too. And then she did, and she went through it all the time, and it probably was something that most of those women
told exactly that, it runs in the family,
which is what she told her daughter as well. So education
is
so
nobody's
key.
Fault. It's just educating yourself. And I think I call our generation very lucky, because we have so much on our fingertips. Like, obviously you can be overwhelmed with it as well. But at the same time, there is a lot of education. Educate yourself on everything. It is so important for your own health, own sanity, own everything, like, reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your own power. That could be health, mentally, physically, or even just finding yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you said this purpose found you.
Yeah.
How did it find you? What was that turning point?
Yeah. Okay. So the turning point was the pandemic. I was already giving health awareness education to my local community of women. And during COVID and lockdown, I wasn't able to do that anymore because it was face to face. And I had an aunt who called me and she was like, Aziza, guess what? And I was like, oh, what's up? She said, my blood pressure is normal. I was like, oh, that's amazing. And she's like, so I stopped taking my blood pressure tablets. And I was like, oh my goodness, she doesn't know. And a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And I really truly believe that health literacy is a determinant of health. It's a difference between life and death, literally. She had no idea that stopping her blood pressure tablets could mean that she could then have high blood pressure. And that's why we call hypertension or high blood pressure the silent killer, because many people have really high blood pressure, no symptoms, and, it's causing the internal damage. So I was just like, all right, I need to do something. And at the time, everybody was using Zoom. So I thought, let me just use Zoom. It was free for 45 minutes. Let's just do that. So I decided to start. That's what started Talks with Dr. Sesay. I was just like, Talks with Dr. Sesay, join these sessions. Yeah. And it was all through Zoom. And I built it through there. I was doing, my first topic was hypertension, then it was diabetes, and so on. I was doing it fortnightly and regularly. And what was really great, because again, it was online, it meant that people all over the world could join. So I had people from Saudi, which is where I was born, Sierra Leone, which is where I'm originally from. I had people from Nigeria, from Dubai, America.
So how did you start doing that? Like when you did that, where did you market it?
Yeah, it was through WhatsApp and family friends. And that's why I started my Instagram page, because I said, oh, actually, you know what? Anybody can access this. Let me just put it on Instagram. And then I was doing like little infographics. Fine. And I'm learning how to do all of this on my own. And my husband made so much fun of my initial post. He's like, what the hell is that? And then he introduced me.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what I was going to come down to. Women who are just waiting for the perfect moment to happen. It never will.
Yeah.
Now is the perfect moment.
Yes.
Whatever you want to start, just start. Take that first step.
Yeah.
It'll evolve.
Exactly. And then when you watch it, you watch yourself grow. Yeah. But allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to be not that great, because it's through practice that you become perfect. You're not, but perfect
is not the word, and failure is not the word.
Exactly.
I passionately feel failure is actually a wrong term.
Yeah.
It's just that didn't work.
Yeah. And it's redirection. I feel like, but ultimately, allow yourself to grow.
That's it.
Nobody is born being like the most talented. No. You can have talent, but if you're not consistent, you won't hone into it. You know what I mean? You won't be the best of the best.
Practice makes it
perfect. There are some people who actually don't have as much talent in a particular profession or something, I guess. And then they practice and practice. Like you hear all these stories from all these incredible celebrities who are quite successful. If you watch David Beckham's documentary that they did a couple of years ago, he practiced. It wasn't just an overnight success. No. The same with Ed Sheeran. He practiced. He played in loads of places.
He went to the gigs where nobody turned up. But he didn't give up.
He didn't.
You know what? It's not about you giving up. I think it's a fear of being judged.
Yeah.
It's that fear that, what are people going to say? Till the time we don't drop that, you have no chance.
And
you gotta drop that.
People are going to talk no matter what you do.
Even if you don't do, they will talk.
They will talk.
Yeah.
And I think it's Mel Robbins' new thing, her book, Let Them.
Honestly,
let people talk. Let them say what they want to say. Just do what you have to do and succeed. So it was through that. My husband made fun of me, but he didn't just make fun of me. He also directed me to using the app Canva, which I now use quite well. I've gained expertise in. That's the other thing. You will gain expertise in the things that you're doing eventually. So then I was doing it every fortnight, the talks, and then eventually, because it was lockdown and there wasn't much to do, I got pregnant. That was the activity. That was the activity. That was fun. It wasn't planned, but it is what it is.
It worked out.
I love my son. He's the best thing that happened. One of the best things that happens to me. In case my daughter ever watches, it's like, what about me?
Mom, you got to be careful. You're on record.
Anyways, so I couldn't do the talks anymore because it was a lot. That was just my way of giving back. But the prep, putting everything together, the talks, all that, it was a lot of work and I just couldn't do it with the pregnancy symptoms. So instead I was like, oh, let me just create some short form videos. Let's see how it goes. And I did it. And those were really well received. It was relatable. It was fun. I'm trying to do things in a fun, relatable, short way. Just like, let me capture your attention.
That's it. No one's got long attention span anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And then it was through that the videos came. And then through that, I have been very fortunate to work with different organizations. So I'm vice chair and creative director of the organization Black Female Doctors, which is an organization to try to unite and empower and excel Black female doctors, like a camaraderie. I've also been very fortunate to be an ambassador for many different women's health charities, including Eva Peel, Wellbeing of Women, the Endometriosis Foundation.
Oh my God! I'm like, when I said to you, I'm in awe.
And then trustee of Sisters. And obviously, because of a lot of the works I was doing, I've been very fortunate, again, to collaborate and work with NHS England, the World Health Organization, and so much more. And YouTube Health, Google, I've been able to speak at. I've also had amazing opportunities to speak at all these different places, again. And this has all come about from one action that I made, from one conversation that I had where I said, nah, I need to do this.
Where there's a need to do this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank
honestly,
you.
Very moving.
Oh,
very moving.
Thank you so much.
And it's more moving because it's inspiring. It is inspiring for so many of us. So many of us just sit there and think and contemplate and procrastinate and everything. And this imposter syndrome and this and this, that. Am I good enough?
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And if you're not, get better.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. And I'll have to be completely honest. Just before I did my very first talk on my Talks with Dr. Sesay Zoom platform, I called my uncle, and this is me being fully transparent, and I cried. He's a doctor, and I cried. I was like, Uncle, who do I think I am doing this? Like, I'm not the best of the best. I don't think I should be doing this. Maybe I've made a mistake. I definitely had that conversation with my uncle. My uncle was like, Aziza, you're doing this because you want to do it. You're a doctor. You have the knowledge, and you're speaking to people who don't have much idea in these topics. So you're just giving them the basics.
That's it.
You're more than qualified to do it. So I truly, even in that moment, was scared. Feel that fear and do it anyway, because you have no idea what is waiting for you on the other side. And what's really important to also say is that I know that we often see people and we think, oh, they're very lucky or they just managed to do it. Nah,
you don't know what's gone behind that. No one's lucky.
Exactly.
Luck is massive. Look, I do believe my faith in my God and all that. Luck is massive, but luck doesn't come on its own.
No,
you don't know what goes behind the scenes. You can sit there and judge. Again, that's judgment.
Yeah.
That's just people judging you. People have a lot of opinions about you. People have, but that's for them.
Yeah.
As I say, you come alone, you don't go alone.
Yeah.
The next day when you're gone, people are gonna you're gonna be an old story. No one's gonna remember you.
Yeah.
So might as well live for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And work hard. Honestly,
there is no
work
shortcut.
hard. Be consistent. Be persistent. Do not give up. Take a break.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress that enough because
do we?
Because you just reach burnout and then you realize, oh my God, actually I need a break. Do not get to that stage. Give yourself regular breaks.
Let's talk about what has been the boldest thing you've done lately. Is there anything else?
Oh, wow. God, I've been very fortunate, as I say, that I've done so many different things. I think what will be bold is what's happening in less than a couple of weeks. So I'm going to have the very first live event for my They Are Not Bad Words campaign. We're going to be open in a park. We're going to do a gynae obstacle course. So where we're going to ask questions and then they'll literally have to do activities to get to get to the final stage. They'll be working in teams, and I'm hoping that everybody will be wearing the t-shirt. So it'll be all of us wearing a t-shirt that says vulva, vagina, clitoris on the back, boldly playing in a park, learning about different gynecological anatomical areas, conditions, just basic facts that not many people are aware of in a fun manner, and just telling everybody who's around that They're not bad words.
I love that. What does owning your own narrative mean to you? Like, you're a black Muslim woman, a GP, a health educator, and a passionate, fearless advocate now for saying, use the right terms. What does owning your own narrative mean? Like, what is it, as you said, it's your purpose, you've found your purpose.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
I think it's important for us to remember that we're all human beings and we are a person first. I think sometimes, yes, when we add all these different labels, we forget the individual that's inside there. And at the moment, we're living in a time of the world where sometimes these labels are the reason, unfortunately, that people are being treated with injustice. So I think for me, when I think about narrative and owning the narrative, I think it's owning the fact that we are all individuals, we are all human beings with a soul, and we all should really be treated with love, kindness, and just humanity.
Basic, isn't it? How basic is that? That's amazing how you've put it down. There is no need to belittle or put someone else down because of sex, creed, race, culture, whatever.
No, we are all literally one. We have the same color of blood that, pulses through our veins. We have our hearts that are there, that's beating. We all have a soul and we're all one. So yeah, for me, whenever I think about everyone's story, we have to always start with the fact that we're human first.
I love it. I absolutely love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aziza, for not just showing up, but actually showing us how to own your truth.
Thank you. Thank you so
How
much.
to speak for your help. And you know what? Most importantly, don't shrink. Don't shrink to fit in.
No. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
If this episode has left you feel seen, heard, or inspired, please share. There's that one woman who wants to know she's not alone. Till then, keep owning your narrative.